Why? Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's me again, your favorite astronaut Vatarain here. And today I'm with the second part of this webtoon adopting a zombie. Now, can someone please explain why? This is the first ever flopped video in my channel. How did that one? Memphis got such a well-receiving and still it didn't make to the second place. I don't even have anything to say here today. I'm just in disbelief about how on earth this won. Out of all the options, you guys decided to make me read another round of a poorly written yaoi. As usual, I'm gonna bring more 3 chapters today because it's easier to write, record, and edit. And let's see how this goes. Don't forget to like if you like my content, subscribe if you want to see more of me suffering from cringe, and comment anything you might have to say about this video or comic in general. Our credits go to the creator Guagji on Webtoon, Instagram, and TikTok. If you found any more of me mourning, let's go to the Webtoon. We begin this webtoon by seeing both. What are their names again? Oh yeah, Dad and Luke. We begin this webtoon by seeing the dumbest nerd I've ever seen and the sentient walking corpse on the streets. Right after leaving the safe zone on the previous chapter, Luke asks where they are going first, now that they are outside. Dad thinks for a while before saying that Luke said something about his clothes being gross, and suggests to go to the mall so he can get his own clothes. Luke confirms that, but asks if that's not going to be dangerous. Dad reassures that the mall is empty, so he shouldn't worry about that, and Luke just accepts this. Dad then says to them to get going, as Luke seems visibly worried. As they step into the mall, still cautious about finding zombies, they soon realize that the mall is quiet, and we apparently have some time skip here. And I say apparently because it isn't specified at any time during the rest of the webtoon. I mean, we have the title showing, but the title of whatever I'm seeing is very different from insert given amount of time later. That says that they didn't run into anything the time they were there. He's still talking about how he has been there a bunch of times, as Luke seems to notice something. Luke then snatches Dad behind some balcony, and before Dad can even protest about this, he begins to hear some noises at the store they are into. We then see a zombie walking around, as both our dynamic duo hides for their lives. Luke peeks through the balcony, as the zombie immediately turns his vision to him, just to be ignored because he's also a zombie, technically I guess. As the zombie trudges out of the store, Luke says that Dad can come out now. He then asks if Dad didn't say about the place was always empty, but he just says that it's been a while since he was there. Luke says that he seemed pretty shaken up. He wasn't scared when he first encountered him. Dad then questions on how could he compare himself to that. So as long as the zombie is handsome, you don't see him as a threat for you? Pretty self-explanatory. Luke tries to ask if Dad thinks he is, something that we're never gonna know because they encounter a huge freaking horde of well-drowned zombies in the middle of the shopping. Will hiding work at this time? We then are finally taken away from that twink perspective to get into another twink perspective, of course. The scientist from the last chapter, go see the last video where he appears. He's saying that on December 3rd, they were lucky enough to find remnants of what Dad was working on. They were able to find journal excerpts. Excerpts? They were able to find journals detailing its properties, and he thinks it's possible for them to use the obtained sample in their own research because of this. He says that he would like to send an informal request to something, terminate their search for another something. The no-so guy, and that's how I'm gonna be calling him from this point forward, thinks to himself that he would need to rewrite. But the main points definitely came across well enough. He also thinks on how he can't wait to send Dad in. With what they found, they won't be needing to call Dad to come back. With that, he'll be able to surpass that arrogant jerk. And finalizes saying that he still remembers his smug face, as we are cut into Dad's plot again. He's running as he screams, but the sedentary lifestyle he has been getting really comes to him as he is left behind by Luke. Suddenly, he loses Luke from sight, and gets snatched once again into a corner by him. I think I know when this kind of scene happens. Please don't tell me. Luke peeks from the corner just to see the horde passing by, and when everything seems normal again, he gets embarrassed and blushes. You know, I knew that the romance bit would eventually happen sooner or later, but matter of fact, this hint of start, I don't really know if I'm ready to this. Oh my goodness. Dad just brushes it out, saying that Luke shouldn't worry about it, for that was great. He should just warn him next time. Luke then says that he was going to, but he decided that it would be better not. And when Dad asks why this, Luke explains that before he found him, he could still understand what people were saying. So he figured out that those guys could do the same. Pick a side, man. You are either an irrational beast or not. How can you tell me that you could understand what people said around you when you are fully turned? At this point, the main difference between you and a fully functional human is that you couldn't really speak, apparently. Dad says that this is the first time he has ever heard about anything like that. He might look more into that soon, but for now, he thinks Luke should be praised for doing such a good job, and says that both of them should get out of there. Luke looks a bit in silence, seemingly distracted before agreeing to that. We begin this chapter with a sight of a building in the distance. Luke's asking why are they going there, and Dad explains that there's where he used to work, saying that it's where he has been getting most of his supplies. Luke gets shocked by such information, saying that they were really well known, and asking if Dad used to work there, but he just says that he guesses so, but ultimately brushes it off, saying that they should get going already, before getting interrupted by Luke grabbing him by his bag and saying that it's way too far and it's getting dark. Dad gets upset for... what did he get mad about? Demanding Luke to stop whatever he did. He then proceeds to ask Luke what does he suggest they to do. Either way, wouldn't they be stumbling around in darkness? But Luke says that this is not necessarily the case, and asks Dad to follow him, as they head to a low-quality pre-rendered 3D scenario that occurred again, symbolizing a time skip of don't know how much time they have passed again, and boom! They are somewhere. Dad is impressed, saying that he didn't know there was a place like this so close by, asking Luke on how did he even find that place. He just says that he recognized the street they were at. The group he used to be in would come by this place a lot, so they made it some sort of second base, but they abandoned it a bit after, so not really much is there. Most of the boxes are empty, but it's well hidden enough, so it should be safe. And he remembers leaving that lamp behind, so they can sleep there for now and head out in the morning. Wait, let me get this straight. What do you mean you remember things from before you got turned? Why are we getting this info just now? And why are we seeing just this bit of his backstory? I mean, I still think this sucks, but I want to know more about Luke, mainly because I'm pretty sure that whatever his story is like, it's way better to accompany than Dad's. Speaking of, he's impressed that Luke's telling him more about himself, just to a moment of silence to pass by, and he says that Luke should take his shirt off. Luke reacts, saying that he knew it was a matter of time before he said something weird again. Dad then says that Luke said that he would help him with his research, and as Luke is about to question what does his research have to do with something, Dad says that he needs a blood sample from Luke so he can gauge if it's still effective, and he needs to check if he had any other physical reactions to what he gave him over the last few days. Luke then understands the situation and allows Dad to proceed. Suddenly, Luke starts to moan in pain, as Dad says that he didn't even do anything, but Luke just stumbles to the ground, still groaning in pain, complaining about his head, and as sudden as it started, it faded away. But Dad seems disturbed by this. In the morning, as they are walking outside, Dad asks if Luke's feeling alright, mentioning if he's not feeling anything too similar last night. He thinks a little and says that yes, he's fine. They continue to walk until Luke stops, making Dad stumbles on him. He then turns to look Dad in a way that I don't even know how to describe this face, and says that he's not worried, so Dad shouldn't be either. They're not close at all, but out of everyone else he knows, he thinks he has the best chance of making a difference right now. Dad even questions if Luke knows any other scientists trying to make a cure as well, but he denies, so he knows he's not lying when he says that. As they still go into the forest, a mysterious woman appears right behind them. If I had to guess, this woman has something to do with Luke's past before turning, but we're just gonna see it on future chapters. We begin this chapter with Luke complaining that they have been going uphill for hours now, saying that this can't be how Dud used to get to work every day. Dud says that obviously it's not. There's a main road that goes up there, connected to the highway, and he used to go to work on his old car. Luke then says to Dud lead the way, and he'll catch up. But Dud got confused, saying that the only direction they're going is up. Luke says that he's talking about the road he just talked about. This is a recycled drawing from the last chapter. He also says that it would be better and faster to walk there than where they are now. But Dad responds to this asking why does Luke think he didn't let them there first. He proceeds explaining that it's out in the open, so they would be super vulnerable. Going through the forest is better. It will take longer, but he won't have to worry about zombies. Luke seems to understand it, but says that he still thinks the main road would be better. Title card again. Guess you know why. We're then shown them still walking until Dud suddenly collapses to the ground. As he lays there, he says that they should rest for now, and when he tries to get up, he falls to his face again. Luke has to carry him, and as Dud is thanking him, his nose begins to drop blood. Luke then gets surprised by that and sees Dud on a rock as he reaches for a piece of clothing, thinking to himself on how embarrassing this is. Luke stares at him worried and asks him if he shouldn't tilt his head up, but Dud denies. He says that actually people were supposed to tilt their heads down, for this way a lot of the blood would just come out. If his head was tilted upwards, the blood would just be heading back inside, like to his throat, so he might even have a chance to choke if he did that. That's something I didn't expect learning from here. I'll give you that one. Luke seems to share the same thought with me, saying that he never knew that, and saying that Dud is really smart. Now, this might be very debatable. They finally reach the entrance of the building, and as they observe it, Dud hears some rustle coming from the bushes behind them. But when he turns around, he doesn't see anything, as Luke shouts for him, asking on how he can open the doors. Dud says that he will be there in a second, as he walks away from the bushes. Once inside, Luke asks what are they looking for there, which Dud responds, saying that it's lots of things. Most of it must be on the storage, on the second floor. They'll pass by it as soon as they head upstairs. But once in there, Luke notices Dud's office desk, saying if it's his. He comes along to confirm that yes, though his last name is misspelled. But as soon as he finishes his sentence, they hear a creaking sound, and both seem to think that something's in there with them, as we see again that same mysterious woman from before. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today. The story continues to be not that much, though again, I'm certainly not the target audience for this. You guys have no idea how much I despise that guy, seriously, and the author trying to make him funny and innocent pisses me off. I got in better detail on why this guy sucks in my personal vision in this previous video, but here's a resume. He's the worst person to be around during an apocalypse. He is a threat to himself and to everyone close to him because of his dumbass decisions, such as bringing a zombie to a safe place full of people just to make tests on it. He puts himself and others in danger for the sake of, and still, he's depicted as the, oh hey, look, he's so funny and awkward and silly, lol. That's the type of thing that I hate seeing in everything. I'm not saying that every character or every story should have a serious tone. My problem is specifically with this kind of early 2010s Tumblr teen girl personality that tries to be quirky and ends up being straight up annoying. And oh, guess who and how one of our main protagonists is. Luke got some more development, but honestly not even close to enough to make me actually care about him. The noisy neighbor didn't really show up, so I don't have anything to say about her. But we are introduced to the ginger guy, or by his new name, No Soul Guy. Don't care about him neither. The most development he had was showing us that he hates Dud, which is just the same for anyone with the basics of consciousness about how to properly act during a zombie apocalypse. We have this new woman that just showed up as well. I don't know who she is or what is her role in the story, but I'm positive about her. Really hope she gets a better trade even if she's being depicted as some sort of current threat for now. My rate for this webtoon is a solid who cares out of 10. But anyway, that's it for today, everyone. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment anything about the video or the comic. And for now, I must go. I need to gather some supplies for my group. See you later, Space Wanderer.